fraud, $385 million.
So, if he had 21 million felonies, I'm voting for him.
That's Jared Kushner. That's Trump's son-in-law.
He's
Forcing you to be gay.
Joe Biden and his crew.
More hilarious MAGA voter shenanigans, this time from a channel called The Good Liars, who managed to get some interviews outside of a Trump rally that I think perfectly encapsulates MAGA's ability to parrot talking points confidently without having any idea of what they're actually talking about. We're going to show you some MAGA members making various claims about Biden bad, Biden sucks, and just watch their inability to even answer the most simple blanket follow-up questions that just go past the surface level of the problems they apparently say they care so much about.
What are your thoughts on how Joe Biden has handled the last 3 years?
Come on, man, they suck. I mean, he sucks. Plain and simple.
What's the worst thing that he's done? What's a bad thing that Joe Biden has done?
Where do I start, man? Really?
Yeah.
Come on, give me something, y'all. Come here. Come on.
This one is so innocently hilarious to me. He definitely thought they were just like trashing Biden, and then he realizes like, oh man, you actually want me to name something? I thought we were just doing the Biden's bad because Biden sucks thing. Like, oh man, well, do you guys know anything? If Biden was actually that bad, he would be able to name something. Anything. If he's not a political guy, if he's not really following with the legislation, he could at least name a topic, right? We see that commonly. Oh, immigration or the economy, but he couldn't think of a single one. And that's because none of these issues are actually personally affecting him. So, of course, nothing quickly comes to mind when thinking of something bad because they're not bad. This is exactly why Trump has to try so hard to force feed his base their talking points, but I can't lie. This next clip that we have might be the funniest one of all time.
Don't care about the people. He's wanting money.
Yeah. In what respect?
Well, just the shady business dealings that he's had to do with the son, and I mean, he sniffs kids. So there's a whole lot of problems that we talk about.
Are you talking about his son-in-law getting the $2 billion deal from Saudi Arabia?
Well, that Hunter, all the stuff with Burisma and things like that.
Is that shady to work in office and then make a deal with Saudi Arabia for $2 billion?
Well, if Biden's name's attached to it, I'm pretty sure it's shady.
Okay. But no, that's Jared Kushner. That's Trump's son-in-law.
Well, that may be. I don't know. I'm not real up on that, but.
Okay, hold on. I'm actually dying, right? This has to be satire. This is like if you were to write a bit about Trump voters. This cannot be real life. He not only didn't know his own talking point about Burisma, that's largely been debunked anyway, but he couldn't get that out. Then just look how willing he was to adopt a whole different talking point that he's never heard before just because it sounded like something bad from Biden, just to then turn around and instantly disqualify it when he realizes it has to do with Trump. Of genuine fear of like, oh my, Trump, it was him. And then you just see the cogs in his mind start to turn to denialism. And he's like, no, that can't be true. If this was Laura Loomer or some MAGA lunatic, do you think he would have given that much leeway to Biden? Or do you think he would have continued acting like it was true and he totally knew what was being said? But I lied in the last one because this clip is actually the funniest of all time.
We don't have rules. What you got? Chaos.
I have to ask, Donald Trump was just found guilty of fraud, $385 million.
So?
Law and order.
I'm not electing a priest.
I know, but does that bother you that he was found guilty of that, being a law and order person?
Well, compared to what?
Corrupt judges.
I'm saying he did a thing that was very illegal. He owes hundreds of millions of dollars. You're a law and order guy. Does that bother you?
Is he the only one that's ever did that?
I didn't say he's the only one who ever did that.
Okay.
Your guy did a fraud that is costing him nearly $400 million.
Well, it bothers me, but it ain't going to deter my vote, sir. I still vote for him. If he had 21 million felonies, I'm voting for him.
Totally not a cult. Totally not a cult. Totally not a cult. Okay. I don't see why these people can't just say, yes, he did something I didn't like. They can't go against their guy for even a second That can't be healthy at all. This guy starts off with, I'm all about law and order. You have to have law and order because if there's no rules, what do you have? To then, in the same breath, excusing massive wide-scale fraud with, yeah, but was he the first? Okay, was John Wayne Gacy the first? Is that the qualifier now? Or you know what? Actually, I know something that he was the first to do, and he's about to go to trial for. Trying to overthrow our democracy must mean he wants him fully prosecuted for that one, or do you think he'd find another way to just qualify it? But what am I even saying? Of course he would find another way to qualify it. He verbatim said he would vote for this man if he had 21 million felonies. Big law and order guy, remember.
Gay marriage, is that effective?
Absolutely.
How does it affect you?
Because you're forcing that onto my children. You're forcing that onto my grandbabies.
But how is it forcing it on
Look
them?
at it, man. It's all over the place. You go to the grocery store, you got to look at that.
Why does that matter? Why does
It's
that
in
matter?
cartoons, for crying out loud. Exactly.
But
You high five.
you're high five, but gay people exist, right? Why is that?
It
why
is
is that?
what it is, but don't force it over on me. I exist, okay? I exist as a straight man, all right?
But nobody-
Wait a minute. Why are you forcing your lifestyle over on me?
Who's forcing you to be gay?
Joe Biden and his crew.
Okay, wait. Okay, this is totally not funny and actually infuriating. I'm sorry for laughing. So let's address these points that he's making here and try to go one by one. It's being forced on kids because everywhere you go, you see it. Everywhere you go, kids see straight couples. Wouldn't that in the same breath be forcing that upon them? Does this guy think that all couples just need to stay in private and don't go anywhere public? Because that's the only logically consistent position for that point. And an even bigger point to make, what about MAGA then? You guys put flags in every yard. Your trucks are wrapped with Trump's face or slapped full of F Biden stickers. Your Let's Go Brandon shirts or ones with Trump's face on them. You bring your kids to the rallies. You push Trump merch on your kids as well. I see them wearing the hats, all about that. Is that forcing it upon them? Or what about religion? You send your kids to church. You make them pray. You tell them you have to believe in God or you're going to go to hell. You're going to burn in a fiery, torturous place. Is that not forcing it upon them? What about literally forcing them to stand up and pledge allegiance to our country every morning in school? Isn't that kind of forcing this sort of American exceptionalism on them? Or is it only things that makes you personally feel a bit uncomfortable? In reality, LGBTQ members and the community has just as much of a right to feel valid and comfortable as everyone else. And a large part in being comfortable with who you are, normalizing yourself, is seeing other people who are like you. All of us straight people, we get that privilege so much so that we don't even think about it or consider it a privilege. But we have representation in every book we read, in every movie, song. We see people like us every day in public. We get to talk and interact with other people who are like us. You know who doesn't always get that privilege or who was fighting for the right to have it for the longest time and is now still teetering on whether people want to let them continue to have that? The LGBTQ community. Imagine you wake up one day and not only does nobody look like you, nobody thinks like you, they don't believe the things that you believe, they don't act how you act or talk how you talk, but they also actively want to remove you from society. Just think about that. The truth is, nothing is being forced upon this man. Biden isn't making him gay. He just feels like he is privileged to have this right of comfort at the behest of others. But I'm sorry to tell him, you absolutely do not have that right. Society is not about your comfort. It is about equality for all. It's not equality for all who look like me. It's equality for everybody. Inclusion is a human right, and the burden falls on the people trying to exclude, like this homophobe. If you enjoyed this video, we're Social Society. We're a commentary channel influenced by politics, society, and the economy. We are pretty left-leaning on this channel, but we're open to our right-wingers as well. The biggest thing here is having conversations that get everyone to the bottom of the truth. If that sounds like something that could interest you, consider smashing that subscribe button, leaving us a like, or even commenting on this video. We even have memberships available as low as $3 if you'd like to support, because the only way we become a society is together.